Welcome back. I'm Kevin O'Keefe. At issue today, Bilal Rejan, child philanthropist. He's raised over $5 million to help with development projects around the world. As we saw before the break, Bilal isn't content at just sending money. He also visits many countries firsthand to see where the money goes. In 2009, he decided to go to South Africa.
Hi, how are you? Pleasure to meet you.
You
Hi,
too.
thank you.
Come inside.
My goal right now to do with fundraising is to inspire 1 million kids to get involved. 1 million kids to make a difference in the world. That's my goal.
It's all about letting youth know about what's going on in the world, in schools, across Canada, around the world.
One thing that we can use to make a difference is action. Doing it now, by making a difference now.
I think getting kids involved is simply letting them realize that in the next 15, 20 years, we're going to be the world leaders. And being world leaders, we have responsibilities. And instead of getting started then, why not get started now?
I want to hear you all say it. So when do we take action? Now. Come on, we can do better than that. When do we take action? Now! Absolutely.
We always really have to carry on the ideal that youth can make a difference. And that's simply because they always are the future.
So here we are at the Safari Lodge. We heard about a singing group of orphans who actually raises funds and asks for donations when they sing. And all the proceeds go towards their education and what they need at the time. So we decided to bring them to the lodge.
So I don't mean to rush you, but we're ready to start, so
Okay, I'm going to come up just now,
Okay.
all right?
Patrick, we're starting, like, right now.
We have here today Steve's traditional dance group, and they're going to show us a few traditional dances. And all the donations go towards their education, basically their quality of life and improving it. So enjoy.
They wowed everyone. They were all amazed at how amazing these dancers were, and it was they were very, very talented. I really believe that Steve, this guy who's given up his whole life just to help his children, is really passionate about what he does.
Let's pray first.
Amen.
This is a great, wonderful present. I think the children will survive and will go to school for this month. Thank you very much. And God bless you.
Well, we just arrived in Cape Town. It's late at night. We just came from the airport. Tomorrow we're going to meet some government officials who are going to show us around a few projects in Cape Town. So I look forward to that, and I can't wait to get that started. So I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, I'll talk to you later.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to home.
Thank you.
Please come in.
Doesn't look like he's well.
But these children are really dying, and rapidly. It was frustrating. Every single time you came onto the ward, there was another child dying.
My passion is definitely simply being an activist, simply making a difference in the lives of others. Causes that are close to my heart have always been to do with children. And that's simply because I can relate mostly to them and the fact that they are the future of not only tomorrow, but today.
It's very unusual because usually children your age are the ones we have to help. So it's a completely different scenario now that there is a child that actually takes action which, for here, I think for Africa, we can all say that this is a very, very unusual thing.
I think my biggest challenge to do with being an activist is others not taking me seriously because I'm a 12-year-old kid. Not only is that my biggest challenge, but it's my biggest pet peeve. That others have the limiting belief that because you're too young or too old, you can't do anything, that you're not powerful enough to make a difference in the world. And it's all about getting the stigma, if you want to call it, that young people can't do anything out of people's minds. Because they can.
How are you? Moro, Dada.
Nice to meet you.
I'm glad to meet you too. I want to hug with you.
Okay.
This is only the one part of my soup kitchen people. We feed something like 45, 50 a day.
How long have you been running this?
I started this one in 2004, but it stops and goes. Money dries up, and then we had to give up again for 2 or 3 months and start scratching around and try starting up again.
And everyone who works here and everyone who runs the soup kitchen, they're volunteers?
We do have volunteers. I've got about 2, 3 now.
And no one who works here is being paid, or are they?
They are getting a very little stipend, very little. Otherwise, they don't get any salary. Our people are very poor. I don't know how to express it.
I understand.
Is that enough now?
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. That's my checkers.
What's your name? I've definitely have been very, very touched by a person named Mama Muriel. She doesn't have much, but she does so much for the children who come and for the elders who come to her soup kitchen.
I don't know, I think I'm very much nervous. I didn't expect to be interviewed and to talk to a young guy like you, an old lady like me. What made you to think of coming to us?
I find that there has to be an interest in grassroots organizations simply because there are other organizations who are doing well, right? They have funding, but you don't, right? And you need that funding.
Muriel works tirelessly to help out. She's been working 20 years and she hasn't achieved as much as she wanted to. So that's why I feel we need to help her do this.
It reminds me of when I was a kid. Well, I still am. I really love penguins, and in December what I hope to do is I hope to go to Antarctica for a geology trip to discover more about the environment, how we're destroying it. And I hope to speak internationally about how we can make a difference and how we can stop destroying what really is beautiful on this earth.
Really, who can we help? What poverty can we eradicate when there's no one who's poor because there are no people? This trip to South Africa was to meet Nelson Mandela, but I was invited to meet him because I'd sent him a birthday card with my book and thanked me for all the great work he's doing. And he asked me to come visit him.
I asked too many questions, I think, but I really took away from the meeting was that you really need to work as a group, to work as a team to be able to make a difference. One person can make a difference, but a group of people can change the world.
So, Bilal, how did your trip to South Africa affect you?
My trip to South Africa was actually quite amazing. A couple of years before my trip to South Africa, I'd actually sent a birthday card and my book to Nelson Mandela.
So I have to stop you there.
Okay.
Why did you decide to send a birthday card and your book to Nelson Mandela?
Nelson Mandela definitely has been just one of those people who have definitely influenced me. In a sense, the fact of he has so much determination to be able to make sure that his cause is out there, that he's doing something to help out no matter what it takes. And so committed to be able to spend 27 years in jail and still come out strong and do his best to help out. And in that sense, I think he's really inspired me to be able to help out and just be determined and do whatever I can. And so I decided to send him a book and a birthday card. Didn't know whether it gets him or not, but, you know, I had high hopes.
Wow.
And just thanked him so much for his inspiration. And I think 6 months later, or maybe a little later than that, maybe a year later, I got an email saying that Mr. Nelson Mandela has requested to meet you.
You're kidding. So he asked to meet you?
And no, absolutely. And it was...
Wow.
I was almost shocked. I thought it was a prank at the start and, you know, a little communication back and forth. But no, it was an absolute honor to be able to just fly to South Africa and be able to meet him. It was an amazing experience.
Now, what did you learn from him? What message did he give you?
We actually met for quite a while in his office, and we talked about a lot of what kept him going and how, as a philanthropist myself at a younger age, I could find the determination myself, or even more determination to be able to help out and do more and just further improve, because he's done so much, and I just wanted to learn.
You talked about 27 years in jail. The videos we've seen during the show, and even talking to you now, you have this aura about you that these things come very natural and very easy to you. Surely all your projects haven't gone exactly perfectly how you've planned. How when things don't go wrong or when you fail, how do you get through that?
I think it's as important as knowing that every penny counts, and every little effort, every thought will get you somewhere. It may not be far, but it will be somewhere. And obviously, life isn't always fair, and nothing will always go as is planned. And you really it's hard. It definitely is getting out of bed every morning and saying, well, this failed, but I'm still happy. And it's repeated by authors, by motivational speakers, and I say it myself quite a bit, that you always have to stay optimistic. But what is not said that much is that it is hard. You will face challenges in trying to stay optimistic. It's extremely difficult. And there have been times where you will be down. There's nothing that you can do about it. And you really have to just keep on going and saying that giving up isn't gonna do anything for me and for the others that I want to help. Giving up definitely isn't the solution.
The problems are so enormous. I mean, and you've been there firsthand. You've seen the poverty. You've seen the devastation. Do you ever think, like, you know, and you sort of alluded to it there, it's just too much. Like, I'm one person. How can I, you know, the problem is such a huge magnitude. Do you ever feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders? Not really. Because I know that, in a sense, that there are so many other people out there that can and will make a difference. And it's just up to me, in a sense, to find them. And I find that as one person, it definitely is hard to make a difference. That's why I definitely think as a group of people we can change the world. And that's why these days more of my work is not fundraising specifically, but more inspiring others to get involved. But on the note of making sure that you keep on going, an old athletic proverb that I like to live by is quitters never win and winners never quit. So. Well, that's a good place to stop. Up next, Bilal's mission to inspire other young people around the world.